In this video I'm going to be talking through how I made this photo. So I'm first going to start off by duplicating the background of this puddle, which I've just found on Pixabay, and I'll leave it linked below so you can follow. And then I'm going to hide the top layer so only the bottom layer is visible, and then moving over to the selections persona and then clicking on Smart Selections brush. I'm going to increase the size of the brush, and then having snapped the edges off, I'm just going to paint over the puddle. And then holding my finger on the screen, I'm going to click Invert Selection. So that's going to select everywhere other than the puddle. And I'm going to add a mask layer so that gets rid of the puddle, and then deselect. Now using this picture of just a road, I'm going to drag that so it's the child layer of the puddle, the one that we've still got highlighted. Then I'm going to position that photo. And then I'm going to add a brightness and contrast adjustment, and I'm going to drag that onto the bottom photo, the photo of the street. I'm going to bring the brightness down and bring the contrast up. And then adding a HSL adjustment, and I'm going to bring down the saturation. And then I'm going to just add an exposure adjustment and brighten up that picture. Again, this is all affecting the picture of the road with the buses on. I'm going to add a mask layer. And with the colour on black, I'm going to put the opacity at about 50%, make sure the hardness is down and the flow is on about 50% as well. I'm going to paint over the edges, and that'll just take some of the harshness away. And then I'm going to add a pixel layer and drag that onto the bottom layer. So again, the picture of the road. And then using the paintbrush and with the colour on black, I'm going to paint around the edges, and this is just to add some shadow. And then clicking on the three dots, I'm going to change the blend mode to soft light, and then I'm going to bring the opacity down. And then going back on that mask layer that I used to get rid of some of the outer layers of the puddle, I'm just going to paint back over, again just to blend it out a little bit more. I've clicked back on the pixel layer and I'm going to bring down the shadow a little bit more as well. And then add another pixel layer. Again with the brush and the colour on black and the opacity all the way up, I'm just going to add more of a shadow but closer to the edges and not blending it down so far. And then clicking on the three dots again, I'm going to change the blend mode to soft light and then bringing the opacity down again. Now with the picture of the road highlighted, I'm going to just blur out the edges so it doesn't look as sharp in contrast to the blurred edges of the puddle. So basically everywhere where I put that shadow down, I'm going to blur it over. And then going to rasterize the second layer of the puddle, the one that's highlighted. And I'm going to do the same with that as well, with the blur brush, just blending over those edges to smooth it out a lot more. And then on the Filter Studio, I'm going to add a Gaussian blur. Going to click the lightning bolt to make it a live filter so that I can go back and change it if I need to. I'm going to bring the radius up. And then I'm going to bring back the first picture as well. And add in a mask layer, and again with the colour on black. I'm going to paint over so that it hides that very top layer and just leaves us with the picture at the bottom. But I'm not going to paint over the puddle. So clicking on the top picture and then clicking on the three dots, I'm going to change the blend mode to overlay or soft light. And I'm going to bring the opacity down. And I want to make it so you can just see some of the original reflection in the puddle. And then adding a mask layer onto that top layer. I'm going to lower the opacity down to about 40%, increase the size of the brush, I don't want too much of the detail to be there, I want it to be mostly around the sides of the puddle. So that's just going to get rid of the reflection. And I'm just going to finish off by cropping in the picture a little bit. And then adding a pixel layer, I'm going to drag that onto the bottom layer, which again is the picture of a road. And changing the colour to black. I'm going to just paint around the edges once again, but this time painting in the front of the picture. And then lower the opacity. And then adding an exposure adjustment, I'm just going to brighten that up as well.